Good morning, good morning. Look at here. There's the sunrise behind me. It's beautiful. Get a 360-degree view. And it's Florida, so there's still a little humidity in the air. That's what you get with all this gorgeousness. Um, and okay, so what good is faith? James chapter 2. I told you James is going to hit us hard, right in the jugular. And um, challenge us and convict us and like all the things like, what are you doing that is good in the world? That is faith without good works, not just works, but good works. What good is it? What good is your faith if it's because, remember what we're having faith in when we have faith in God is faith in love. And love should motivate us to do good things in the world. Good things for ourselves, good things for others. And what is good for us should also be good for others. Um, even in my own coaching philosophy, and the name of my coaching company is Own It for Good. This is what I mean by the for good part. This is how we can always check in with ourselves and discern, is this good for me? If it's good for me, it should also be good for other people. If it's of God, it should be good. And when I'm doing the thing that's aligned with God, it should not only be good for me, but it should benefit and be for the common good and good for others. And that's how we can even check in with our hearts and go, wait a minute, is this just a selfish, like I want what I want sort of thing right now? Because sometimes that hurts other people and it even hurts us. So how do you discern? Well, asking that question, is this for good, for the common good and my good? If it meets that criteria, we should be good. But is your faith motivating you to not just motivating you, but compelling you into good works? That's the benefit, that's the goodness of faith. Faith in the right things, in the things of God, in the things that are good, produce more goodness. That's the way it works. And sometimes we get on a negative feedback loop where it is really what we want, you know, um, but it's not necessarily good for us. You can, as a Christian, as a human, we have the freedom to do whatever we want. And just because we can do something doesn't mean that it's beneficial. Paul talked about that too. So, how do you have that litmus test? Are you being compelled to do good works? And I don't think this necessarily means, they gave some examples, James gave some examples in the Bible. He talked about in this chapter about, are you discriminating? If two people walk into a gathering and one has all the telltale signs of wealth, and then somebody comes in and they have all the telltale signs of not wealth, who do you give preferential treatment? That's not good. As a matter of fact, he comes in and reminds us that actually Jesus came to tell us that the poor actually are rich in faith. Are we doing good works? Are we helping care for people? And we can do this when I am made to be an encourager and a coach. And I've done that throughout my whole life, whether I wore the label or got paid for it or not. This was something that people recognize in me and come to me for because I'm a good listener, I'm discerning, I can be objective, I can see the big picture. I have like I feel like God created me for this type of thing, for writing, for reminding people and encouraging, and I have patience And, I have a lot of those qualities. And when I'm operating in that, it's good for me and it's good for you. And I help lots of people. So sometimes I think we have a very fixed mindset of what good works looks like, that it's only if you're out on the streets and handing out sandwiches or working at a soup kitchen or, involved in ministry at your church and opening church doors. Like, all of those are good works, but they're not limited to the things like that. When you are operating as God intended you and what he designed you for, and you're operating in your divine flow of your gifts and talents, and the intersection of all of that is of God. When your gifts and talents help you, they help other people, all of that intersects, and you're in your divine flow, and you are doing good works just by doing what you were designed and called to do. And a lot of people look at that and think that it's selfish. No, it's not. It's not selfish at all. People have such backwards ideas of what real things, sometimes what things really mean. And we can fall into the trap and the temptation. Did you know negative thinking and negative self-talk actually is a form of selfishness? And it's a form of, it's a temptation to sin that we fall into because it feels very holy. It's like, well, I did something I shouldn't do, and now I'm going to beat myself up about it instead of just repenting and going in a new direction and using it for good in that way. I'm going to just beat myself up and hate myself, and that makes us feel good. Like there's evidence that I'm a good person because I really know that I did something that's not good. And so I'll demonstrate my goodness by lambasting myself, by just punishing myself. No, that's false. That's false. And what if you had a healthy conviction and guilt, and then you actually repented and then went forth and did something about it? You put that maybe oversight, momentary failure as feedback, and then you went and put it to good use to encourage somebody else. Hey, I just did this thing. It wasn't good, but look at me. You can turn around. You can change. And let me help you do it. When you teach, when you use your shortcomings and your experiences that you're not maybe proud of to encourage people and teach people, that's a good work. That's a faith in action. And sometimes we mistake faith as self-deprecation, self-punishment, negative self-talk. And that's the thing that keeps us stuck. And negativity feeds negativity. And then the people around us have negative energy. We can bring them down. We can start being critical and more judgmental. The more judgmental we are of ourselves, the more judgmental we are of other people. So within, so without. So what if you loved yourself enough to allow yourself to be human and imperfect, and then took all of those imperfections and used them for good? That's a good work. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying, at least I'm doing my best. I struggle with my ego and struggle with, I'm trying to be like an open book and transparent. Like, I was somebody who was, in the habit change world, we talk about habit stacking. Well, I was habit stacking negatively. I was stacking all my bad habits together. I was over drinking wine, overeating food, over sitting on my couch, overworking and wearing myself out every day, and then crashing and burning every night. And then I had a hangover to deal with, and not just a hangover from wine, but from food and lack of exercise. Like, I was on, and I want to be honest about that because I want to help you not do the same thing. Like, learn from me. We don't have to be sick to get better. Let my sickness help you get better. So this is rather, and I sat in the pit of negative self-talk and self-punishment, and it didn't work. It didn't work. The only way I changed was to begin loving myself and treating myself like the child of God that I am, who is worthy of all of that love and worthy of being healthy and taking care of herself and having self-discipline and going through the struggle of quitting bad habits. It's not easy. It takes courage to look at yourself in the mirror with complete honesty. And I'm sure there's still areas where I'm not ready for it yet, where I'm still maybe in denial, but I'm on the path and I'm willing. I have an open heart. I'm willing, and I have faith in the process. And my faith is producing good fruit and good works. It is good. My faith is good for something. Um, so, what are the things that you're having faith in? And are they producing good things in your life? What good is your faith doing for you and for others? Something to think about. And don't shoot the messenger. Well, you can't because James is no longer with us. So remember, it's James. No, it's totally my message too. So honesty is beautiful, and it's the only way that we can become who we're meant to be. All right, love you. Hi, puppies. Rise and shine. There's some beautiful dogs. Um, all right, see you tomorrow for James chapter 3. Bye, good morning.